Today we are going to be going over a division word problem. Now, dividing with decimals is actually uh, very similar to dividing um, with whole numbers. So uh, there's just a couple of things you have to remember, and it's pretty straightforward. But let's just go over this word problem. So Jack had 3 and 6/10 or 3.6 yards of ribbon. He wanted to split the ribbon into 4 pieces. How long is each piece? After he splits it into 4 pieces. So, what we would end up doing is we would do 3 and 6/10 divided by 4. Now, unlike whole numbers, um, when you're dividing, typically in third and fourth grade, uh, mostly, you'll be able to tell which number goes first in a division problem because it ends up just being the bigger number, right? But in decimals, with decimals, you can't depend on that because 4 is bigger than 3 and 6/10. And this 4 divided by 3 and 6/10, pretend that is a decimal here, um, is actually going to give you quite a different answer. So they are not the same. So the easiest way to think about it, um, that will work in most of these, is basically um, the first number in this division problem is going to be what you have, right? So we have this amount of ribbon, and then what it's divided by is going to be how many pieces it's going to get cut into, right? So that is the easiest way to figure out the order of the division problem. So what we have, which is 3 and 6/10 yards of ribbon, and then what it's divided by, or how many pieces it's gonna get split up into, and that is 4. And uh, also, it's best to just check your answer afterwards and think, does this answer make sense? If I have 3 and 6/10 um, ribbon, yards of ribbon, and then I split it into 4 pieces, would it be possible that I would have more than a yard uh, in each of the piece? No, because this is not equal to 4 yards, right? So it's always good to just think, does this answer make sense? Have I created ribbon out of nothing? Right? Uh, there are no ribbon miracles. So now let's get to how we actually do this once we've set up the problem. So the divisor, or the divisor, the second number, we're just going to set up a standard algorithm problem. Uh, and it just becomes 4 into 3 and 6/10. Now, obviously, if this number was, higher and more complicated, if it was in the hundreds or thousands, we would just uh, add that number in. This is pretty straightforward. Uh, Now, how we do this is we just bring the decimal right up here as it is, and then 4 goes into 3. It does not, so we put a 0 here. Now 4 goes into 36. How many times? 9 times. And then this is the answer. So the key is you need to just bring the decimal right up and then make sure you put the numbers in the proper place value right above the number, right? And then the answer is just 9/10. And then I know that 9/10 times 4, 4 times 9 equals 36. And since there's one number after the decimal here, I have to move the decimal here. So it does equal 3 6/10. So that's obviously one way of checking your division problem. So hopefully that was helpful and showed how to divide or do some division word problems.